right, guys, welcome to a brand new episode of SideQuest Podcast. Listen in and level up. I have a great episode for you today, but first, as always, let's get through the show notes. If you're not following the Facebook page, head over to Facebook, type SideQuest Fitness into the search bar, and like the page. There, you're going to get updates on podcast episodes, articles when they get posted, and you're going to get a brand new taco recipe every Tuesday for taco camp. Plus lots of other shenanigans and nerd talk throughout the week, so make sure you head over to Facebook. You can follow me on Instagram. My handle is SideQuestFM. If you want to see some cool videos and random stuff on Instagram as well, you can follow me on Instagram. Same handle, SideQuestFM. Or follow me on Snapchat, SideQuestFit. Follow me there. Send me your questions. I want to get all the questions from you, help you as much as I can on your fitness journey or your journey in life, whatever it may be. But head over to Snapchat, SideQuestFit. Follow me there. You get a little more personal, in-depth look at the shenanigans I get into throughout every day. But I do love getting questions from the community, so please send them out to me. If you have not left a review for the podcast, please head over to iTunes. If you're not listening on iTunes and you listen on SoundCloud or Stitcher, leave a review there as well. When you leave reviews, it helps me move up the charts on the iTunes store so that more people can see and hear the amazing guests that I've had on and have on each and every single week. So make sure you head over there. And don't forget, if you haven't picked up your copy of the 7 Principles of Fat Loss, head over to sidequestfitness.com/7 principles, and you can pick up your copy of the 7 Principles of Fat Loss. These are the same 7 principles I follow each and every day and teach my clients to help them shred away more body fat, unlock heroic strength, and just look better naked. So if you want to unlock strength or just look better naked in the mirror, head over again, grab those 7 principles of fat loss, and start following those today. All right, guys, welcome to the show. I have a great guest for you today, a returning guest. It's been about a year and a half since I've had Mitch Heaslip on. The last time he was on, we talked about poutine. He is from Canada and why he loves poutine and living in Texas and the crazy things he's had to get used to being down in the warmth of Texas. But in this episode, we dive into a whole lot of really, really cool stuff. He's rebranded himself. He is now the Jacked Hipster on Instagram and Facebook and Snapchat and all that. But we dive into hip-hop. So if you love hip-hop and rap, we go into a huge thing about music and then get really deep at the end. This episode is a little bit longer than most episodes usually are, but there's so much value starting right around the 25-minute mark that it just takes off and just hits you in the face full of awesome. So if you love Drake, Jay-Z, Nas, Kanye, we dive into all of that, but we talk about what he fears the most at the end, which I think you're really going to enjoy. So I'm going to shut up. Let's get into the show and hear from Mitch.
Step up and you gotta get it fitness. Host Rob at the moment and the quest is you gotta check it and wreck it. You're breaking personal records and with the help of the guests you won't be guessing on the lessons. That's a +5 fierce. Got a low-key bamf right here. You wanna meet him, there's no better way to greet him than to strike a boss pose. Take a look into the mirror. All
right, guys, welcome to a brand new episode. I have a great returning guest for you today. He has changed things up a little bit in his branding. I like to think of him as the second most jacked Canadian that I know besides Brian Cron, because Brian's always going to be the most jacked Canadian that I know. So Brian, if you're listening, you're always the most jacked, the end. But he has now changed that and decided that, he's going to grow his hair out. He's going to grow the beard out. He's gone full hipster on us, a.k.a. the Jacked Hipster, the one and only Mitch Heaslip. Welcome back to the show.
Thank you. What's happening? Coming after you, Brian Cron. Coming after you.
Except you came to the U.S. You're getting back from the U.S. to go back to Canada. I like it.
Yeah.
Staying warm in the winter.
I'll take this Texas weather.
You were back in Canada just recently. What was it like being back in frigid cold?
So I was a little bitch. I was always the guy that didn't dress appropriately, that you'd see wearing basketball shorts to the car, just to go to the car. It's -30. I'm good. A hoodie and some shorts. I'm good. I always wore nothing but a hoodie all through winter. I was good with the cold. Not anymore, man. I'm I'm climatized to Texas. I went home. It wasn't that cold, by Canada standards, and I was a little bitch about it. It's different.
Did you have to buy anything when you got there to keep yourself warmer, like that you don't have in Texas?
No, I kept a couple things. That, a jacket, some boots. So I still have some of my winter stuff.
I got you.
Yeah.
So Mitch, it's been almost a year, about a year and a half since the last time you were on the show. What have you been up to, man? I mean, I know what you've been up to. I see you on Instagram. I see you on Facebook and Snapchat. You were like just grilling the Snapchat game for a while. I've kind of backed off because Insta Story is all there. And I'm like, I don't have to go to another app.
Dude, I know that we should get into Snapchat and Instagram eventually as well.
Oh yeah, we'll talk.
Yeah, because that's an interesting little thing. Aside from fitness, it's in the social media world. But what have I been up to? Just coaching clients, making content. A lot of the same old stuff. Training client, same shit as last time.
Well, now I've seen a few changes that you've gotten into meditation and a little more stoic in some ways. I guess a little more I don't want to say into yourself. That sounds like the worst thing to say, but like
totally feeling myself more now.
You're more centered. You're more. I don't know what word I'm looking for. So what brought about those changes? What really got you into meditation and sort of thinking about being in the now and focusing your attention on where you are in the moment?
Yeah. It's, that's something that's been a long time coming and growing. And I've really just, it looks like it kind of came about in the last year and a half or so, but that's the time frame where I really took it and made a real protocol that I just will not negotiate on. But it came about 5 years ago. I don't know if you've seen any of my Cowboy Adventures of a Jacked Canadian Hipster articles. Yeah. So those are just basically therapy for me, talking about how I fucked my life up in my 20s and how everything from that point, I was about 24, 25 years old, and everything from that point up until now has felt like me trying to crawl out of this giant hole I dug for myself. Super long story short, I had a job as a personal trainer. I was working in bars as well, doing a lot of partying, too much. Ended up getting smashed, crashing my car, totaled it. It was a little Hyundai Tiburon. And if you can imagine how I'm 6'4" and about 235 at the time. And somehow in that thing, I rolled it several times over, ended up on the roof, and somehow came out of that accident with not a single head injury, not a scratch. I came out of there with no injuries, but I don't know how. But basically, and then 3 days later, got fired from my first personal training job. So dug myself a giant hole there. And everything since then has felt like, so truth be told, I've had a gigantic chip on my shoulder. So everything from that point has been about crawling out of that hole. And eventually I ended up working as a firefighter in Alberta, Canada. So that's picture the middle of Canada where no one lives, and it's all forest and wolves and minus 40. So that's where I was working, right? Barely even have cell phone service in a lot of the places. And now I'm forced to be alone with myself. So after going through my entire life, always being around people, fucking up my life in my 20s, but still being around people, never really facing it. I had no friends, no family out in Alberta. So I was forced to be alone, sit with myself. And it's something I had avoided all the way up until that point. So that's when I started being like, to keep my head on straight, I've got to figure something out. It was actually out of necessity. So that's when I discovered meditation for the first time. And like everybody else who starts meditation, I really sucked at it. But that's where it all started. How it was really just learning more and more about it and learning how to implement it to be effective for myself. That's how it's kind of come about to be now it's to the point where, like, I love my sleep, but I will wake up at 4:30 to meditate regardless of how much sleep I got, because that's it. That's my cornerstone. You start the day with it. Doesn't matter the circumstance.
What has changed in you since you sort of started that meditation and it's become, what did you notice, say, in the first month, and what have you noticed, in the last, year or so?
Like the first month, whenever I first implemented it in Alberta, like when I was out west.
Either then or when you really sort of got into it, when it really became a big thing. Because some people will start something and they do it for a couple of weeks and then they'll wait a few months and they're like, I should go back to that thing. And then they'll start it and then it doesn't really click. Like, what made it click for you, and what change did you notice?
There was a lot of changes going on at that time, because that was part of the whole car crash thing was like a rock bottom moment. And then there were a lot of things that just came together out of necessity, just to pick up the pieces and move forward. Part of that was going to fire school. I'm not a firefighter now. I'm a certified firefighter, but I don't work as one. But that discipline and that structure was something that I needed. The meditation was something that I needed, that came about whenever I was forced to be alone with myself. And so there were a lot of changes going on. I mean, that's when I started my blog, a little WordPress blog. I first started writing, so that was very therapeutic. I started taking on clients online at the same time. I think I started believing in myself a little bit more, but mainly it gets you out of your feelings. That's the biggest benefit, even to this day, even now, 5 years later. The biggest benefit for me is it allows me to view things that are happening and circumstantial on from a kind of a third party perspective, an outside looking in perspective. So you don't get lost in it. You don't get wrapped up in that kind of whirlwind of your own feelings and thoughts. You can kind of observe it objectively, and you just make better decisions. You see it for what it is, which is, I like to say, like, life is just a series of games that we play. None of this shit's very serious. Everything we stress about is really a game, really a joke, Even big things like politics, countries, borders, religion, it's all just a game to play. So it just helps me see life kind of from that outside looking in perspective and be like, all right, this isn't a big deal. Just, let's play this game.
Okay. I mean, it's a very.
I'm taking in 1,000 different directions there.
No. I'm just like, when I think of a game, for certain things, I there are rules, there are things I have to do to play. There are objectives, there are rewards. Like, I sort of think about it that way. So I'm just sort of trying to understand how you view that in some of the larger sort of things in life. I guess I could find it, being the giant nerd that I am, and sort of viewing things through that lens. But I have noticed, that you've been doing a lot more of it and seen it in your social media. So we'll take a quick little break from that and mention sort of social media, and over the last year how everyone jumped on the Snapchat game, because Gary Vee and before the show started, we talked a little about it, and we'll talk about it some more too. But everyone jumped on the Snapchat game. Everybody got on it. Everybody was Snapchatting away. And now Instagram sort of took over, and I've seen a lot of people going back towards the Instagram and Insta stories, which is awesome because it's all in one place. It was obnoxious to be like, oh, I can put this on Snapchat. Oh, I can put this on Instagram. So which one are you playing with more now?
Right now, I'm snapping, downloading, and uploading to Instagram. So my stories are basically identical. And that's just because I can't commit to one. I think what Gary Vee said is correct. I mean, what do I know? I just go with whatever he says. But he says, like, Instagram is going to keep the people that may have otherwise gone over to Snapchat eventually. There's no reason to leave Instagram and go to Snapchat, but Snapchat still has the young demo. And they don't want to be on Instagram because their moms are taking selfies on it. So the younger demographic is still there, and they're going to grow up on it until, So I'm still doing both.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I think for many people, like my wife has sort of gotten into it, and she's got a small little following on Instagram now because it's so much easier to find people, because you can search through hashtags. You can hashtag a picture, people can find you, start following you, and then they can see your stories. Whereas Snapchat, you have to know somebody or they have to find your snap code. So it makes it a little more difficult. So it seems a little more personal on the Snapchat side.
Yeah.
So before you got on, we started talking about video. You've been doing a lot of video. You put up a ton of stuff on YouTube for a while. You've put it up on Facebook. And then even really, let's be honest, Instagram and Snapchat, or in your case, Snapchat uploading to Instagram, are pretty much video. I mean, yeah, you can take pictures and you can do that, but most people are using the 10 seconds to get a video across.
Yeah.
But you said you struggled with that because many people say, Mitch, you're a better writer. You're a great writer. Writing is what you're great at. Why have you jumped in on video, and what do you like about video versus writing?
Yeah, that's very true. People tell me that I'm a little bit of a stronger writer. I've been a fairly strong writer since, and again, like I don't necessarily agree with this. So this is what kind of messes me up. But I've been told I was a strong writer since being a child, like maybe like a naturally inherited gift. I've never felt I was a great writer. But I do enjoy it. I find it very therapeutic. But what I like about video is that it's like talking to people. So it's like this. It's like maybe I can't articulate my thoughts quite as well, speaking to the camera, but it's just more personal. You'll never get the same. I know. Yeah, this is up for debate. I know, but you'll never get the same richness from text only. I'm going to piss someone off at this. You'll never get the same richness, Roman. You'll never get the same richness from text only as you will from, visual, audio, and speaking combined. Now, I know there's people that are like, love books. The book is better than the movie and all that. I think it's because a lot of us like to connect the dots ourselves. Mm-hmm. But I really enjoy the visual aspect of video as well. Especially, it's kind of like I can show you better than I can tell you. It's that kind of thing. So I think the whole, like, I can show you better than I can tell you thing really draws me to video. It's like, well, here, like, this is what we do over here to get results or whatever it is we're talking about.
I think that's, we mentioned him a little bit before we got on the show, but, I've dove headfirst in, and you have just recently, to Dr. Jordan Peterson. And, he actually said it, I think it was in the Joe Rogan interview, where he was like, we've only been writing for about 500 years. Like, we've been listening, the Odyssey, the Iliad, all the stories of myths told for thousands of years, for most people, besides the ones who were educated and could read and could write, like, most people heard things through their ears.
Right.
Through interacting with other people. So I think that you're sort of right in that there is sort of a reason why podcasts have become very big, because people can tune out while listening to a podcast while they're doing work. I've done it. We've all done it. I guess I need to make my voice a little sexier. Yeah. I don't know. Maybe not. Or maybe you need to do like the old school, like crazy radio stuff where they throw in like bleeps and bloops and like maybe that keeps people's attention. Who knows? But I think that happens in, with the work with writing, like if it's long, you don't want to get into it. But if it pulls you in and you really engage, then you do connect those thoughts and you're able to create that scene in your head. But you are missing those nuances of body language that have to be explained in words versus, video where you can see it all.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, in a photo or in a video, you get a lot of information really quickly. And I mean, most of it's subconscious, but most of our thinking and, brain activity is subconscious anyways. Even whenever we think it's conscious, it's usually not. But you just pick up so much more information from just seeing something happening rather than, when you're reading, it's kind of like, literally, spell it out. So that's what's interesting, just the whole visual aspect. You can create mood. I don't know, the music, the combination of music, the video, the visual. Now this is more in like a long form, vlog style video, where you incorporate music and a lot of cool visuals and stuff like that. But when it comes to the Snapchat stories and Instagram stories. It's just like talking to someone. That's what I love about those in particular. It's like you and me going back and forth, 10-second clips. It disappears, goes away. It's just like talking to people. Very personal. It's like video Twitter, and I love Twitter. I wish Twitter wouldn't die. So it's like video Twitter, and I love it.
Yeah, you've been crushing Twitter for a while as well. Why? What do you love about Twitter? Like I just get lost in the feed.
Yeah, I don't consume Twitter at all. I can't. It's just craziness. But what I like about Twitter is I like one-on-one. I like talking to people one-on-one more than I like trying to talk to a mass. So of course, like you like to scale, you like to get a video out and get a bunch of views on it, or article, get a bunch of reads. But I like, when it comes to communication, if I can talk to someone one-on-one, that's what I like. Cause I mean, advice is only as good as it is within the context, right? So we can give all the tips, I just did quote fingers if you're listening to the audio. We can give all the tips we want, but if it's not if it doesn't address someone's problem, it's not useful. But when you're talking to someone one-on-one, you get right into the details of what they're facing, or what the challenges they're experiencing, and create solutions based on that. So that's why I like is talking to people one-on-one. It's why I like Snapchat. It's why I like Twitter.
All right.
Yeah.
I think it's some people listening right now might be like, well, where's all the fitness talk? Let's talk. Where's the cool?
All right, let's talk fitness.
Social media. But it's an interesting thing, because I think it's something that like our generation, the millennials, if you will, the generation that wasn't cool enough really to soak up all of the early 90s, the 80s and the early 90s. So now we're trying to like nostalgically bring back all of those things, except, grunge. We haven't brought that back yet.
No, not yet.
No, not
well,
yet.
What do you mean? Like, what are we bringing back?
Oh, dude, if you look at the fashion, like high-waisted
fashion for
acid
sure.
wash jeans are back. Like I see like young girls on my wife's campus, like college campus, walking around with them, and I'm like, okay, so you were old enough to have been born by someone who graduated high school who would have worn those pants.
Yeah.
Which, okay.
You're wearing your mom's pants right now.
Yeah, basically. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like flared jeans came back when we were around in the 90s. I saw a dude wearing Jinko jeans, which terrified me because I just thought that was the craziest idea ever. Like, I don't know. Maybe I'm just weird.
Yeah, man. It's just cyclical, just like fitness is.
But look at like, so Fuller House. Just this week, now when this episode goes up, it'll be like month-old news, but they're bringing the Magic School Bus back. Like,
are you serious?
Yes.
You know what warms my heart?
What?
Whenever I see like 5-year-old kids playing with Ninja Turtles, I'm like, I didn't know. No, you don't like that?
No.
Oh man,
no.
I like that.
This is the part of the podcast where someone sends me an angry email. No, I will blatantly say this right now. This generation is not good enough. They don't deserve the Ninja Turtles.
Not good enough. Wait, why not?
No, because that is my generation, sir. You do not touch Michelangelo and Donatello and bring. No.
I want them to have it. I don't want them to play this. It beats whatever they're playing. It's like the music. I'm like, now this is where I start realizing that I'm like my dad now. Like, you can date my music now. It's like, no. Lil Uzi Vert? No. Jay-Z, that's real music, So now I'm like, I listen to dad rap basically.
Yeah,
what it comes down to.
You're also a huge Drake fan. I mean, and Drake is like on fire right now. Speaking of Drake, he's also dating J-Lo, which is one of those.
He went back to back with
someone who was
Rihanna and
popular
J-Lo
in the 90s.
Yeah. No, I'm a big Drake fan. I'm not hard against anything that comes out just for the simple fact that it's new, but that new style, like that trap, whatever they call it, like mumble rap or trap. I don't like a lot of trap music. I don't like most of it. I'm not against new music. I love J. Cole. I love Kendrick. I love Dave East. The guys but I mean, these guys sound like 1990s New York City. So,
yeah, but there's a flow, there's a rhyme, there's something to it that sort of reminds you of the old days, and they're reinventing and bringing their own stuff in, which I think for for music is something that kind of happens. I mean, really, you look at, we could talk about this all day, but you go back to music and look at surfer music. Punk sort of took that fast, upbeat sort of thing and made it their own sort of thing. Mm-hmm. And then, what comes out, well, really the Police are arguably punk. So that comes out, and then you get, new wave, which sort of spawns its own little thing. And then hair metal sort of turned into it just all this stuff. But I think the bands that really succeed build off of the things from the past, but put their own new flair on it.
Yeah. Yeah. And 100%. It's like you stand on the shoulders of those that went before you.
Yeah.
But I'm not mad at the new styles, because I understand why my dad hated my music and why I hate this new style of music. I get why.
So why did your dad hate your music?
Well, my dad likes 70s rock, and I'm like hip hop exclusively. So that's the natural clash of our generation.
Okay.
Like rap music comes out and the parents don't like it.
Because you look at it and you had fast rock and roll, you had heavy metal, and now just a lot of hip hop is sort of heavy metal, but the heavy metal is the vocals. Right.
Yeah. So I guess it's so different because, well, I think one of the arguments that my dad makes a lot of the time is they don't play instruments. It's not music if there's no instruments. They make all the actual music is from a machine. We don't really give a fuck. We just want to hear some good punchlines and some good flows. So it's just, it's just different from what they're used to.
Well, I think one of the things that when you mentioned that, I thought about that video where someone broke down Kanye and showed that in one of the albums he used voice as an instrument, because your voice is an instrument.
Yeah.
I mean, if your voice isn't an instrument, Dad, then how come a cappella groups exist?
Yeah. His whole first album, all the beats were voices, straight up voices. And it was the whole second album. They were, what was it? Synthesized voices or artificial voices. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Kanye. I don't care what anyone says. Kanye's a genius. Pray for Kanye, everybody.
He might be a little crazy. He
is crazy. He is crazy. That's how you know. That's like the stamp. That's the stamp, man. That's how you know. Pablo Picasso is pretty crazy too.
Well, yeah. So who are there any new sort of hip hop guys that you've gotten into that maybe the audience might, because the audience, maybe they don't know J. Cole. If you don't know J. Cole, please go check out J. Cole. Got to represent North Carolina from Fayetteville.
That's right. Yeah.
Fantastic hip hop artist. Just the way he delivers, just his rhyme scheme is amazing. And Kendrick, fucking Kendrick Lamar, dude.
Do you like Kendrick?
I love Kendrick. I love Kendrick because I think, now I know his last album, you kind of got this feeling that he was sort of in a very subconscious, subtle, maybe it wasn't subconscious. It felt like he was like, yo, I'm the new Tupac. This is what I want to do. This is the legacy I want to carry on as Tupac. Because what most people don't realize, and I will say it until the day I die, if you don't like Tupac's music, fine. Go buy his book of poetry. It is something I can't even tell you how good it is. And that's why I love hip hop artists who are able to deliver a really good flow and really good poetic words. I don't like the goofy, cheesy one-hit wonders that the 90s were full of.
Yeah.
I want the stuff that has some impact, some meaning. And Kendrick he's so good. And of course, always Eminem. Always. I also love Wiz just because I feel like I should be smoking weed.
Yeah.
And King of
I haven't
Everything
given Wiz
leg day, man.
Yeah. King of Everything.
Yeah.
But I haven't given Wiz a good honest crack. Someone, a buddy of mine recently told me to check out his early mixtapes before he was famous, because apparently it's just bars like crazy. And I was like, bars from Wiz. So yeah, bars like crazy.
All right.
About Kendrick though, Kendrick's one of those guys I really want to like. I will buy every Kendrick album that comes out. I'll listen to it once and probably never again. and I want to support him. I like him in the same way that I really wanted to love Nas. And I just, again, I'd buy the albums. I'd listen to them. Like, wow, this guy's out of this world talented. He's got such a good message, but it's boring the shit out of me. Put on some Jay-Z, put on some DMX, you know, same thing. Like Kendrick, I'm like, oh yeah, this is cool. I really want to support this. But, you know, put that Drake song on where he's singing, you know, with all that melody. Give me the melody.
It's so interesting that like you, in all of those, you went Nas, who is one of the best, you know, in the game since he got into it. And then you get a little more aggressive with like Jay-Z and DMX. All right. And then you drop Drake. And I'm the only person in the world who feels like Drake is the Mumford and Sons of hip hop. It's like, let me give you the same beat and the same sort of like, I'll give you some cool lyrics and some good songs, but it's going to all feel the same. And I'm like, are you
sure though?
Do you write the same
I've heard you say this
times?
before. I don't know. Are you sure though? Cause he'll even do different accents. Like he'll even like talk like he's from the islands and he'll rap. Like, you know, he'll get on like everybody's song. He'll go on anybody's song. I'm just going to be like Drake D-riding for a minute here, but he'll get on anybody's song, right? And do it better than them. So he got on, what's that dude's name? Up on a Tuesday, you know, got the club going up on a Tuesday. No,
I don't.
He got on the Migos song Versace.
Yeah.
And then he gets on A$AP Rocky's song Fucking Problems. And whatever he gets on, it's a totally different style, but he does it in their style, but he does it way better than they do it.
Which I think
I think his albums do kind of run together.
They feel like they run together. And it's not that he's not, I do think he's very, very talented. I mean, maybe it's just because I had to watch the ridiculous, and you're from Canada, so maybe you watched the original. But
of course I did.
God, Degrassi, guys. Oh my God. We watched that like when we had nothing to do in health class. They made us watch that in like 7th grade, like the original. Not the like Drake Degrassi that was on like.
Yeah, I know the one with Snake and shit, right?
Oh my God.
I know the one you're talking about. That's the real Degrassi. See, that's when TV had a message.
See, I couldn't get into it. I thought it was the cheesiest, corniest TV ever. And I was like, what are they doing in Canada? Canadians have to watch this?
Yeah, I'm surprised you guys watch that down here.
I don't know how we got a hold of it. Like, I really have no idea. But, like, he brought in, like, videotapes. Maybe my health teacher was secretly, like, from Canada, and I didn't know about it. But, like, he would put them in on, like, snow days or, like, when we were done with, like, class. Like, we had Degrassi days. And I was like, what?
Dude, that's so weird. And where is this in the U.S.?
It was
is this North Carolina?
North Carolina.
That's so weird to me.
I thought it was just like this weird old 80s show. I was like, is this what like Family Matters? Is this what happened when like Canadians were like, we're gonna make Family Matters and the Wonder Years, but we're gonna do it Canadian style? And I was like, I don't. This show seems so weird to me. Like it just didn't.
It was weird. It was just, you know, actually it is funny that all the shows had such a strong like message, but yeah, it was just one of those ones that they always had like a really strong theme, like a moral social theme. That's probably why I watched it in health class. But yeah, Degrassi, man, I didn't really watch it, but I've seen it. It was funny. Not like the way it's supposed to be, but yeah, it was interesting.
We'll hop back on the hip hop train. So why the aggressive sort of stuff with Jay-Z and you know, and sort of DMX, like you said, but Nas doesn't fit, but Drake does.
Mm-hmm.
So why like Jay-Z and DMX? Is it just like that gets you going to the gym? Is it that like you just couldn't get into the slower, you know, more lyrically? Not that Jay-Z isn't lyrically very good.
It's melodies. It's like the aggression level varies, but DMX has crazy good melodies. Jay-Z is the king. You know, Jay-Z is like Nas, who dumbed it down to make money and build an empire. Like Jay-Z could have been Nas. Like, you know, what did he say? I used to rhyme like common sense, made 50 mil, ain't rhymed like common sense. It's a Jay-Z bar. It's like he knew what to do to make it sound better, you know, and I do like some ear candy and that's like what Jay-Z did. He just made shit sound really good. And of course, like lyrics, complexity, it's all there. But Nas is like, you know, there's a couple other guys, Nas, the new guy, Logic. really want to support Logic just because the lyricism is insane. I really like hearing it, but I don't want to listen to it very often. And Nas was like that. I just found it a little bit boring. I like to listen to it if I want to hear some skills being displayed. I'm like, oh, this is crazy good. But if I want to listen to music, even though DMX is, aggression is, 11 out of 10. Jay-Z's is a 6 or 7 out of 10, and Drake is a negative 7 out of 10. What they have in common is it just sounds so good. Whereas the Nas and the Kendricks, they put the way it sounds, I think, as a second priority, and it's like a message and the ability to rap, the ability to put complex lines together. I think that's what it is. I had a big aversion to Drake for a long time. When he came out with that first album, was it So Far Gone? So Far Gone was the mixtape, and then Thank Me Later was the album. Is that what it was? Anyways, early Drake came out, and I was like, it was a little bit catchy, but nah, dude, I listen to DMX. I don't listen to this shit. And then the Take Care album came out, and I was like, oh fuck, this is really, really fucking good. And to me, that might be my favorite music album at this point. Even now, I played it in my car for 2 years straight. It still gets plenty of spins in my car. And it took me a long time to come around, because I put up like a resistance to it. Because I was like, no, I listen to rap. I don't listen to these dudes that sing on their own choruses. But now it's like my favorite thing.
All right. I'll give you one that Adam Ali and Nick Sorrell told me. NF.
Oh, I never heard of him.
I think he's labeled as like a Christian hip hop artist, but it's not like he's hip hop. It's not like he's proselytizing in what he does. But he reminds me a lot of a really young Eminem.
Oh wow!
And if there's one thing I love in this world, it's fucking Eminem.
Oh yeah. See, I used to, when that first Eminem album came out, first of all, like, who the hell's parents let them listen to that? That was crazy content. But I remember when that first album came out, I used to walk around. I'd go to the basketball court with a little stereo that played cassettes, and it's like play the Eminem cassette tape in that little stereo, walking around with it in my duffel bag, going to play basketball, man. But that content was crazy. Yeah. But so good. I've been in some debates about Eminem being the greatest. It's a touchy subject.
I don't know, man. There was a lot of underground guys who never made it in the industry just because, like you said, like maybe they didn't want to sell out and they wanted to do their own thing. And there's
maybe Dre didn't see them.
Maybe not. Not. All right, let's go to a couple of fun questions that we've been chatting about hip hop. So, what store would you max your credit card out at?
What store?
Yeah.
Oh, see, that's tough. I don't know. Because I don't like to buy a lot of stuff. I don't like stuff. I'm the type of guy I could happily live out of a couple duffel bags. Let's see. iTunes, for sure. Probably a bookstore. That'd be tough. That'd be a fuck ton of books though, right? I know there's gonna be something. A car dealership for sure. Yeah, that's a tough one, man. I don't buy stuff. I don't buy stuff. Starbucks. I buy Starbucks. That's like my indulgence. Yeah, I buy. Yeah, that's it.
All right. What was
I don't spend money.
Best book you read of 2016?
2016. I'm looking at my shelf right now. Yeah, I'm dropping the ball on this one, man. Let's come back to that one.
All right.
Yeah, I read it quite a bit more in 2016 than I did in 2015. And I'm totally drawn a blank on what stands out.
Yeah. All right.
Yeah.
What's the most important value that you try to display to your clients and readers or YouTube watchers?
I think right now it's fear. It's getting past fear. Don't let fear dictate basically anything that you do, and getting your head around the fact that you are going to die. I mean, Gary Vee talks about it. Fight Club talks about it. Your life is ending 1 minute at a time. And Alan Watts talks about it. And what Alan Watts says is once you get your head around, now he puts it more eloquently than I do, but he says, once you get your head around the fact that who can speak like that, man, that guy's a monster. Once you get your head around the fact that you're going to die, you're freed up to basically just not give a fuck. And when you don't give a fuck, then you're not considering what will he or she think, or will I look stupid? Or, once you're free of that, then you just do what you want and you know you need to do without any interference. And that's the whole game, I think. So that's really what I want to get across to people is, a lot of time it's fear of failure, fear of what people will think. You got to get that off. You got to get that out of your way, and realizing that this is your life. And one day you're going to be on your deathbed, maybe if you're lucky or whatever, you'll be on your deathbed, taking your last breath. You'll be looking back over your life. And are you making decisions now that will make that person excited, pumped? Or are you going to be like, you're going to have regrets like, oh, I sure am glad I fucking didn't do that thing because I knew it would someone might laugh at me, Yeah. So look at life through the eyes of like you dying somewhere down the space-time continuum and make decisions that are going to make that person happy.
So you mentioned conquering fear, something I've written about before. And before we got on, I told you about this article I've been working on for a while. And that sort of ties into that as well. But I want to ask, because we talked about the writing and the video. So what do you fear right now? What is holding you back from jumping to either one, or what is holding you back from making a big decision that you're afraid to pull the trigger on?
I can't think of a fear that's actually stopping me from pulling the trigger on anything in particular. My biggest fear right now is not realizing my potential. And how that fear will hinder me, I'm not exactly sure, but that's my big fear right now is, getting to the point where I am looking back over my life and feeling like, you really pissed it away. And it's not like I feel like I really pissed it away, like I'm doing nothing, but I feel like there's potential and I want to realize every ounce of it. And my biggest fear is not realizing every ounce of it. That is like a legit fear at the moment. And it's been for quite a while now, probably a year or so. That's the one. I don't know if it's holding me back though. I'm sure it is, but I'm not sure in what way. Anytime you have fear, it's gonna change the way you move and make decisions. Has that always been sort of
what has prevented you is your potential, like that you've always sort of been a little afraid of that? Or has that just crept up over the last few years? What do you think about it?
Yeah, that's actually a question I've asked myself. I don't know. I try to look back, like pre car crash, before I crashed my car. I don't know. I don't remember what I was thinking back then. I do know that I was very short-sighted and it was about the next party. It was very, surface level party, have fun now. I didn't worry about my potential, but I do think it's possible that I was running from I was running away from that whole idea of trying to realize my potential and just, no, don't worry about that. Push that off to the side. But I think after I crashed my car, like I said, I felt like I had a hole to crawl out of. That was my mission. And I actually love I love having a mission, and usually the shittiest things in my life that happen to me provide me with a mission. So oddly enough, the worst things that happen to me usually make me the happiest because I end up with a clear-cut mission and I'm fucking ecstatic about that. Once I got to the point where I felt like I had crawled out of that hole and got back to baseline again, that's whenever I think it shifted to like, okay, now you got to realize your potential. I think that's where it went to after that.
Do you think that, to bring this back around full circle, do you think that meditation has helped with that? Sort of getting through the smog of your, mental, blockings and bringing that clarity to you?
Oh, I think it's made me aware of it, to be honest. I don't think it's helped it yet. I think it's on its way. It's in process. It's what made me aware of it. It's what made me look at it, realize it. Like what are you afraid of? Because a lot of the time we're really good at just shoving that stuff to the side and be like, oh, what's for dinner? Oh, dishes need to be done. But meditation, it allowed me to do a thorough and objective self-assessment. And that's how I came to kind of actually realize it. So that's really where I'm at with it. I wouldn't say it's helped me get past it by any means, except in the way that, you have to acknowledge something first. So that's where I'm at with it, really.
Okay. All right. We went a little deep on that one, but
what's going on here?
Yeah,
I was going to talk about
went from hip hop to potential to deep thoughts and but it's something that we talked about in the last Coach's Corner, about sort of thanks to Roman and the hero's journey and seeing that everywhere in my life now. Like I think about the things that I fear the most, and this is a part of that Thanos piece that by this time this goes up, it will be published. If you're listening to this and it's not published on my website, I want you to email me and be like, Robbie, what the hell are you doing?
Yeah, give him shit. There's your deadline. That's the deadline you need right there.
Yeah.
Set.
But that we have this, and Jordan Peterson talks about chaos and order and uses the yin and yang, as symbolism that we don't go into the dark cave. We don't go into the chaos because we would rather ignore that. But what will set us free, the treasure that we seek, is in the dark cavern, is within death itself. That you need to go into that dark area, to discover how to heal yourself.
Well, which is where, again, not to piss anybody off, but I mean, that's where a lot of religious myth comes from. Yeah. The death and rebirth is a constant recurring myth, right? Across cultures, across the whole world.
Yeah. And it's that idea that for a new idea to be born, an old idea has to die, for you to improve your life, or as I talk about in the piece with, a breakup, like my first breakup, your first breakup, I'm talking the one that leaves you in the fetal position, sucking on the teat of whiskey while you cry and almost choke on your tears, that breakup, not the one where you were yeah.
How old were you sucking on the teat of whiskey though? When was this first
20.
breakup?
I was 20 and somebody.
Okay, that's fair. I was picturing a 13-year-old that's getting shit-faced after his first breakup. Okay.
No, listen, I was an awkward kid in high school. I didn't really get a girl until college.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That's fair. At least you weren't drinking, sucking in the tea of whiskey after your breakup at 13 years old. I was picturing, yeah.
No, but that sort of thing that we go into this dark area, and if we let ourselves stay there too long, sometimes we do things like we say fuck our health because we can't have that person, or we do something, we start being shitty to other people. We allow ourselves to go into this dark area full of, fear and failure and pain and doubt and resentment, and we become sort of nihilistic in a way. But that the one thing we fear to do within that whole thing, the one thing we fear, that little white part of the yin and yang, is the one thing that will get us back to where we need to be. But we don't want to go to it because we fear the pain that it will cause us. But the pain that it will cause us is so temporary that we need to get out. So the whole thing is sort of based around comic books with Thanos.
That sounds interesting, man. I can't wait for that.
Thanos got pissed off because Lady Death was like, oh yeah, it's cool. Yeah, you went and you became so powerful, but you're more powerful than me. So you're not really worthy of my love anymore. And the dude just flips his shit and kills half the galaxy.
Yeah.
So, why do we do self-destructive things? Why do we do those things? Because we don't want to face the truth. We don't want to conquer the demon, the dragon, and heal ourselves. But I think you made a good point that you have to become self-conscious of that. Something else the piece goes into another comic book. But that recognizing those things and becoming conscious of them means that now you can choose to make a difference. You can, the hero's call to action. That's your call to action. You can refuse the call. Fine. but that you're going to continue to battle with that thing. And the only way to overcome that is to attack it.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%. That's really cool.
See, it's interesting. See, Dad, if you're listening, he doesn't listen. He says he reads my stuff. But comic books are worth something. So, all those times you told me they weren't, or that video games are stupid. Yeah, take it, Dad.
Oh yeah, no, comic books are definitely worth something. The storytelling is unreal. It's mythology in its own right. It's got a universe created, and it's unreal. I'm not as deep into it as you. I never was. I'm kind of into it. Kind of into I love that the movies and everything like that are taken off, but definitely not as deep into it as you are. Same thing with video games.
And I have to be honest on the comic part. Like, I grew up with comics, but there's a lot of comics that I missed. But I subscribe to Marvel Unlimited. So if anyone is listening and you love comic books, Marvel Unlimited, it's like $10 a month. Like, I am talking everything, every Captain America from like 1940 whatever until like almost now. Like the last 10 years, the last Civil War series, like the Infinity Gauntlet series, everything, almost anything you could want is there in Marvel Unlimited, so you can read for hours and hours and hours.
Solid deal. Solid plug.
Yeah.
Sponsor this, man. Marvel? What the fuck?
I get no affiliate. I get nothing from it.
For now.
I'm just pitching it because I love it, because it's like...
We got to fix that. Marvel.
We'll
Marvel,
see.
What are you doing? Dropping the ball. Yeah.
We'll see. So we're there at 50 minutes, Mitch, and we've talked a lot about hip hop and got into a little deep stuff here at the end. We talked a little.
Not a single bench press.
No, that's what. But that's the thing, is like the second time in is like, let's check up. Let's get to know you a little bit more. You've already given us your story.
True.
If you guys haven't heard Mitch's first story, sidequestfitness.com/podcast, and you can find it there for Mitch Heaslip. Or if you go down to iTunes, SoundCloud, wherever you listen. Find Mitch's first episode, but I'll have the links in the episode for this episode. So it'll be like sidequestfitness.com/ Mitch Heaslip returns or something. Or just go to podcast and
something cool.
Yeah, something cool. And then I'll have the links for the first one. But it doesn't have to be all training. Like we enjoy some fitness stuff, but you would max your credit card out at Starbucks. So obviously you're all right, so
I like coffee.
Are you a drip coffee? Or are you a French press?
I'm not a snob at all. I'm like, I will drink coffee from yesterday if it's there. I like it all. You know what? So then that begs the question, why do I spend like $4 on a coffee at Starbucks whenever I could just get it from a gas station? I like going and sitting at Starbucks. I love the environment of a coffee shop. So,
okay.
But I love coffee. It's the nectar of the gods. There's no debating it.
How many cups a day do you drink?
2.
2?
Yeah.
So if you go to Starbucks and you've already drinking your 2, you don't...
I won't go because I'll drink 3.
Okay.
Or I'll drink 3. Yeah, it's not a big deal. But I usually have 2 a day, usually both in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we'll end it on a little training because why not?
Okay.
So what's your training looking like right now? Have you been experimenting with anything? Are you jiving on something? Do you have anything that maybe the audience should check out in your articles or any ebooks or products or something you want to say, hey, check this out, and I can turn you into a jacked hipster as well?
My training right now,
beard hypertrophy. Do we have that?
I'm not the guy to tell you about that. I've been working on this bad boy for quite a while, and we're not getting too far. But my training right now is kind of interesting. I'm actually doing a Christian Thibodeau work program, and it's I don't know if anyone knows anything about Christian Thibodeau. He's a hypertrophy focused guy, but it's very explosive, very low reps, very fast reps. The perfect rep, as he calls it. Every rep has to be fast, no grinding. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm enjoying it. I like training. I like focusing on performance in the gym. It's just whenever you have the most fun. And in my experience, it's whenever you get the best results as well as when it comes to building muscle. So chasing performance in the gym. As far as checking out my stuff, again, dropping the ball. I can't even think about any of the stuff I've put out recently. I'm just kind of like pumping stuff. And as soon as I put something out, I forget about it and go on to the next thing. But I mean, jackedhipster.com, the blog is full. It's a good search feature, whatever you're looking for. It's probably there. YouTube channel, same thing. YouTube is Mitch Heaslip. And that's where you'll find my videos. So, yeah. As far as training, I haven't actually written a pure training article in a good long time. And that's probably where it's probably obvious by the way this podcast went.
No, and that's like, I'm working on something, or we'll have published something on like comic books and like improving your life.
Well, that's it. Like fitness is the most easily accessible form of self-improvement.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, it's self-improvement, and it just takes you deeper and deeper.
Yeah.
Fitness is always a main pillar. It's a main pillar. It's I really, really believe in it, and it's completely transformative. But it just leads you further and further down the rabbit hole of improving yourself.
Yeah, I firmly believe that once you get the body in shape, everything else will sort of come from that, because once you were stronger physically, you will feel stronger. You'll feel it mentally. You'll feel it everywhere else, and then things will sort of take over. Take over from there.
100%.
I'm sure there's someone who might say otherwise, that maybe you can do it mentally and then sort of go the other way. But I just know
I think so. Yeah, I'm sure you can. I think either way, it's something to hang your hat on, and it's momentum. You can build your momentum either way. But I think here's the thing with fitness, though, is that we're a very vain society, and you get that with it. A lot of time before you really dive into improving yourself, or even thinking about really improving yourself, at least you want to look fucking sexy. You want to be able to take it. So that's what gets you into it. So fitness as a top layer really has a draw for people that maybe aren't even in a self-improvement mindset. They just want to look better and, get more attention or feel better, or just like what they see in the mirror, or just, anything that's surface. It just has a lot going for it as far as appeal.
Yeah.
Meditation. If someone's not interested in self-improvement, they're not going to be like, "Ooh, meditation sounds so cool." Doesn't change the way you look when you take your shirt off.
I am all for looking super great naked.
Hell yeah.
If
you have an option.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, your goals are your goals. And if your goal is to look really great naked, awesome. You should just
and be honest about it, please. That's the other thing. How many people do you sit down with to talk about training with you? And they're like, "Yeah, I just want to live longer for my kids." I'm like, "All right, well, cut the bullshit. And why do you really want to do this?"
Dude, I had a guy apply, and if he hears this, what's up, dude? You're welcome. I'm not going to say his name, but he's a client. He was like, one of my questions on my application is, what will what's the one thing you'll do when you accomplish your goal? And he was like, "I want to be confident enough that I can go on stage and strip, but I'm going to wear a Batman costume and go on stage as Cock Knight." And I was like, you know what? That is the best. That is the most true and honest response anyone has ever given me. And I think that whatever your goal is, if it is to if you need to feel better, to play with your kids, and that is your honest, true from the heart goal, awesome. If your honest and true heart goal is I just want to feel like I can get through my daily life without sucking wind going upstairs, awesome, cool.
Yeah.
If you just want to feel like your joints aren't achy, fine. But if you really dig deep and you're like, no, you know what? I'm going to be vain. It's okay. Say it and be honest. No one's going to judge you. I'm going to high five you. That's awesome. But just be honest with whatever your goal is. No matter
100%.
what.
It doesn't have to. Yeah, it doesn't have to be noble. I can't remember who said it, but they said everybody has two goals, right? The one they tell you, and then the real one. And everyone wants they think it has to be noble, or I don't know why, but no one really wants to come out with their actual reason initially.
I think because like you said, many people are afraid that they'll be called vain, and whatever. Your goal is your goal. Other people aren't going to like it because maybe that's not their goal. It doesn't matter. Their goal is not your goal. Your goal is your goal. And yes, you may look up to someone else and be like, "Hey, I would love to look like Arnold." That's fine. You can go for a similar physique, but nobody's going to look like Arnold except Arnold.
Right.
It's Arnold.
Yeah.
Like, no, like, you can cool, but like, you're going to look like the best version of Arnold that you look like. You're not going to be exactly like Arnold. You could be, who knows, better than Arnold. You could be.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah.
Whatever it is.
You just got to realize what Arnold is. You know, I had a guy whose goal was to look like J.J. Watt. I was like, okay, that's cool. Just remember, you just picked one of the most genetically gifted men in a pack of freaks.
But again, there is that. But I also would go with this: is that if you were coming off, I'm gonna use the football term. If you're coming off the bench, and by bench I mean a desk at work, and you're not new to training, and you look at someone like that, they've been doing that for years.
Yeah.
And years and years and years and years. And like people look at me and they're like, how'd you do it? I'm like, dude, what you see right now is 5 years. Mm-hmm. Like it's 5 years of just grinding it in the gym and looking to get better each and every day at what I do. Like it wasn't overnight. Like it will take time, and just enjoy that and know that like, yeah, you can have an amazing transformation in 6 months. You really can if you give it your all. But you know, some of the people you look up to, they took a while to get there.
Yeah.
They really did.
Yeah. You know, we talked about like what I want people to know. That's kind of like the one I mentioned was kind of more of a mindset concept, but within fitness, I think it's important to get this one out too. And it's that having a goal and having a focus is really important. It's what's going to light the fire in your belly, but it's also important to realize that there is no actual finish line. Thank God for that, because I mean, getting to the end of air quotes again, getting to the end of your fitness journey would be depressing and it would suck. So, I mean, thank God it never ends, but realize that it doesn't end. There is no actual end goal. I used to think that once I could bench press 225 for a good amount of reps, that's all. Yeah, that's good enough. I'll be happy and I can coast. Of course, that's not the way it goes. You get there, and then but before you even get there, you have new goals set, right? So, you know, these images, these goals, these things you're shooting for, use them as more of a compass than a endpoint. It's a place to aim for, but it's kind of like a rainbow, like aim towards it, but you won't get there. The journey is the destination. So you got to learn to enjoy it. You got to enjoy it, or you're not going to make it.
Yep. All right. I like it. Mitch, I think we're going to leave it there on that note. I think it's a great place to wrap up. Again, you said it, but if people want to know more about you, where can they find you online?
I'd go Instagram. I'm going extra hard on Instagram these days. The Jacked Hipster is the handle.
With a THE in front of it?
Yeah, the Jacked Hipster. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Did I just say Jacked Hipster? Yeah. The Jacked Hipster is the handle. And Snapchat or Facebook. Facebook page is Mitch Heaslip. And Snapchat, if you're into the snap, I'm still snapping. It's Mitch H Fitness. If I could choose that over again, boy. Mitch H Fitness on Snap. Cool. Awesome. Well, guys, you can get that and all the show notes at sidequestfitness.com / or just / stop saying / / whatever it is. Sidequestfitness.com / podcast. Scroll down to find Mitch Heaslip. You can get the link to his first episode, links to all the things we talked about. I'll even link you to the NF's playlist on Spotify and maybe as well some other people we talked about. But Mitch, it was great to catch up with you and get you back on the show. Thanks so much, man. It's fun.
Step up and you gotta get it fitness. Host Rob at the moment and the quest is you gotta check it and wreck it. You're breaking personal records, and with the help of the guests you won't be guessing on the lessons. That's a +5 fierce. Got a low-key bamf right here. You wanna meet him, there's no better way to greet him than to strike a boss pose. Take a look into the mirror.